Welcome back to World History 101. My name is Stephanie Allen, and this is going to be the conclusion of Chapter 15, Part 2. All right, lovies, let's go ahead and get started. Last time we talked about Chapter 2, we talked about a guy named Sundiata. We said Sundiata was the founder of Mali, and he was Islamic. We talked about how he laid or set the foundation or the precedents for Mansa Musa to come in. We said that Mansa Musa comes in and he is the person who is most associated with a very extravagant pilgrimage to Mecca. And on that pilgrimage, we know that Mansa Musa ruins the value of gold in Cairo, Egypt for about 12 years. We talked about the transition to chiefdoms and kingdoms that occur in Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, as a result of population increase, and how because of an increase in population, those kinship and family groupings were no longer sufficient for governing Sub-Saharan Africa. So they make that shift or that transition to chiefdoms and kingdoms. Now we are going to talk about, what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about Indian Ocean trade and Islamic states in East Africa. So remember I told you that it's going to be easier to organize this information in regions. So when you think West Africa, think Mali, think Ghana. Well, Ghana, Mali, because Ghana's first, then Mali. After that, you should move to East. Oh, no, we moved to the Congo. And we said that the Congo was Central Africa. When we talk about East Africa, we're just going to lump those into Swahili city-states. We'll talk about Kilwa, but we really won't talk about any specific society associated with East Africa. We'll just say Swahili city-states. And that's going to be important because of trade. And then, of course, for Southern Africa, we said Southern Africa will include Great Zimbabwe, and it will also include South Africa. So let's get started with Indian Ocean trade as it relates to Swahili city-states. All right, so the Swahili Coast gains importance and wealth through their access to maritime trade. That maritime trade is going to link Africa with the Near East, India, and Asia, and it is Indian Ocean trade. So again, Indian Ocean trade links the Near East with India and Asia. And we're going to see the rise, the growth, the expansion of Swahili Coast trade as a result of that influence. Swahili means coasters, and coasters refers to people who engage in trade along the East African coast. Coasters refers to people who engage in trade along the East African coast. And Swahili is the language that is based on a Bantu language. I can count to 10 in Swahili. Moya, mbili, tatu, nne. Maybe I can't. At one point I did I did a Fulbright in Tanzania, which is in East Africa, and I learned a little bit ndogo ndogo. I learned a little kidogo kidogo. I learned a little bit of Swahili. So yeah, several lifetimes ago. All right, so Swahili is based on a Bantu language. The impact of trade in the Indian Ocean trade network is evident in the coastal and island people sharing a common culture and language. We're going to see this common culture and language built on African grammar and vocabulary words that are enriched by Arabic and Persia. Again, people, that is the importance of trade. We're going to see, like we just said, those vocabulary words from all over, particularly Arabic and Persian, enriching the African grammar. or the African language. So the spread of Islam and Muslims settling along the East African coast is also going to increase as a result of trade in the Indian Ocean. The most important center, or the most important trading center of the Swahili city-states in East Africa, is going to be Kilwa, Kilwa. So Kilwa, by the late 15th century, Kilwa was exporting large quantities of gold each year. And this gold had been mined by inland Africans to the south. Kilwa became the wealthiest of the Swahili city-states because of the large quantities of gold that they exported. And most of the gold came from or passed through Great Zimbabwe. Let's talk about Great Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe is a city with many stone structures. It was built between 1250 and 1450 when it was a trading center and capital of Zimbabwe. So again, if you know nothing, I need you to know that Great Zimbabwe is the inland trading capital of Zimbabwe. East Africans are also practicing Islam. Just like in West Africa, Islam is going to be used to facilitate trade with Muslim merchants. Let's talk about African society and cultural development. So kingdoms, empires, and city-states have clearly defined classes, social classes. Small states and kinship-based societies are different. They have sex expectations and age groupings that determine your social position within a society. So let's talk about sex expectations. So sex expectations are basically just like they sound. Based on your gender, you're going to have a particular role. So men are going to have like specialized labor skills where they're going to do like leather working, iron working. They're going to clear the land for agriculture. Women's roles are going to be domestic. So think domestic chores, taking care of the household, raising the kids. The women of Sub-Saharan Africa are going to be relatively more free than other women we've talked about. The women of Sub-Saharan Africa are going to be relatively more free than other women we've talked about. The arrival of Islam in Sub-Saharan Africa is not going to change the status of women in Sub-Saharan Africa. The arrival of Islam in Sub-Saharan Africa does not change the status of women in Sub-Saharan Africa like it did in Arabia and in Southwest Asia. It does not change their status. Age grades. So I told you that these societies are going to be broken up into age grades and sex expectations. So age grades just means that members of the same age group perform tasks that correspond to their level of development. So 5 to 6-year-olds are going to do this specific job. 12 to 14-year-olds do this specific job. 17 to 20-year-olds do this specific job. Your job within our communal society is going to be based on your age. It's going to be an age-appropriate job. Moral of this story is this is an interdependent communal society, meaning that everyone contributes to our daily welfare, to our daily well-being. Slaves are also going to be present in Sub-Saharan Africa. One could become a slave as a result of prisoner of war, debt, DEBT, and criminals can also become slaves. Slaves are seen as a way to display wealth. Pay attention to the importance of the slave trade in Sub-Saharan Africa. P.S. This is not the transatlantic slave trade that is associated with how blacks of the diaspora got to the Americas. That's not what this is. This is trans-Saharan trade. So this is across the Sahara Desert. Christianity also exists in Sub-Saharan Africa. So your book talks about the arrival of Christianity, and it gives us Axum and the Solomonids. So the Axumites, A-X-U-M, Axum. If you had Axumites are the people of Axum, A-X-U-M-I-T-E-S. The Axumites represent a Christian kingdom in Ethiopia. They translate the Bible into Ethiopian. The Solomonids are descendants of King Solomon, descendants of King David. They are the descendants of the Israelites, or they claim to be the descendants of the Israelites. They are also located in Ethiopia. This is how they established their legitimacy as a Christian kingdom, by claiming to be descendants of the Israelites. They also claim to have the Ark of the Covenant. If you take me for 102, we'll talk about during World War. If you take me for 102, in the chapter about World War II, we'll talk about the Emperor Haile Selassie, and he's a descendant of King Menelik, and all of these people are claiming to be descendants of the Israelites. And the Solomonids at one point actually claimed to have the Ark of the Covenant. They're also responsible for something called the Kibra Nagast, which is very interesting. That's it, people. That's chapter 15. I hope you have had a wonderfully happy time in World History 101. I hope to see you in World History 102. And if not, this is where I bid you well, my loves. This is your last chapter. Goodbye. I love you. Au revoir. Bonsoir. Naondoka. That's Swahili for I'm out. Bye, lovies. Have a great day. I love you unconditionally. Bye.